Bonjour tout le monde. Hello everyone. Good morning. Bonjour en ce samedi matin. In this Saturday morning. Bienvenue à tous. Je m'appelle Iris. Hello everyone. I'm Iris. Et on se retrouve pour parler de l'examen Fide avec prêt à parler. We're gonna talk about the Fide exam with prêt à parler. Ce matin, nous sommes une école qui propose différents types de cours, dont la préparation à l'examen Fide. Et nous allons parler de cet examen avec moi, Iris, chez Prêt à parler. Alors, aujourd'hui, on va parler du format de l'examen. So today we'll continue talking about the format of the exam. On Wednesday, Brice, professeur et coordinateur pédagogique à Prêt à parler, a déjà présenté un peu le Fide, right? Brice already explained a little bit about the Fide exam on Wednesday. You can go have a look at that video. That's also on our YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. So if you want more information about the Fide and specifically about the speaking parts, because today I'm going to speak about the listening parts, the reading and writing parts. Aujourd'hui, nous allons nous concentrer sur les parties comprendre, lire et écrire. So speaking was with Brice, and now we're going to see listening, writing, and reading. All right. I'll still quickly present the exam, the Fide exam, for those who weren't here on Wednesday, and then we'll dive into reading, listening, and writing. All right. Donc, l'examen Fide. Qu'est-ce que c'est? What is Fide exam? First of all, Fide, c'est l'acronyme français, italien et Deutsch, donc allemand. So French, Italian, and German. Because you can take Fide for all those languages, but we'll focus on French, obviously. L'examen Fide permet l'évaluation des compétences linguistiques. It's there so that we can evaluate your skills in French. Alors, pour le Fide, so why would you take the Fide exam? Usually our students take it so that they can get a permit, un permis, permis B, permis C, C anticipé ou la naturalisation. So depending on the permit that you want to have, you need a specific level of French, from A1 to B1, from A1 to B1. À l'oral, so speaking, but also à l'écrit, writing. So we'll focus on both in our lessons. A1 is the lowest level, of course, and B1 the highest for Fide exam. You maybe have heard about B2, C1, C2. Those are other levels, but they're not in the Fide exam. So you can get up until the B1 level. And depending on the permit that you want, you need a specific amount or a specific level. All right? Don't hesitate to put questions in the comments. I can see them, I'll read them, and I'll answer you as much as I can. All right, on continue. Alors, le Fide. What is important to know about the Fide exam is it's about des situations de la vie quotidienne. So it's about everyday life situations. Different from the DELF, for those of you who know about the DELF exam is another French exam, and it's a little bit different, I think a little bit harder. Fide is a little bit nicer. So it's about everyday situations that you might encounter in Switzerland. For example, how to describe your place, décrire son logement, prendre les transports, to go on public transports. If you need to plan a delivery, programmer une livraison, prendre rendez-vous chez le docteur, so if you need to go to the doctor, ou téléphoner à l'école pour ses enfants. You have to call the school for your kids. So it's all very down-to-earth situations that you might encounter in Switzerland. That's what Fide is about. Alors, donc, dans le Fide, as Brice already told you, you have two parts. Il y a deux parties dans le Fide. Il y a parler et comprendre, c'est la partie 1, so speaking and understanding. Listening is the first part. Et partie 2, lire et écrire, so reading and writing. I'm gonna show you these three today. So if you want to have more information about the speaking part, you can go and watch the video of last Wednesday. Donc, 4 différentes tâches, different tasks, and we're gonna see now comprendre. And of course, you go from level A1 to B1. What is important to know? Parler, comprendre is one part, and that's around 40 minutes. And then lire and écrire is the second part, and it's around 60 minutes. Those are the topics that you might encounter. I already told you about describing your apartment, for example. So, logement, kids, les enfants, le travail, work, if you want me to look for work, administration, all the paperwork that you might encounter in Switzerland, les médias, les loisirs, so the hobbies, la mobilité, how to move around to get on public transportation, achat, if you want to buy anything, la poste, la banque, les assurances, so the bank, insurances, all those things that you might need in Switzerland. Santé, health, et des cours de formation. All those are the topics, and during our lessons, our group lessons of Fide, to prepare you best for the Fide exam, we talk about all those topics. We try to cover as many as possible, and we give you some vocabulary, and we do some trainings for Fide. All right, on continue. Donc, il faut savoir que il faut passer le niveau A2 d'abord. So this is very important. If you weren't here on Wednesday, I just want to remind you that you always start with the A2 level. So you always start with the speaking part, and they start with A2 level, because that will determine if you want to go to A1 or B1. After the speaking part, the examiner will tell you, okay, maybe it's best if you pass the A1, or maybe it's best if you go towards the B1. It's always your choice. So the examiner just gives you an advice, and then you choose. You can choose if you want to go to A1 or B1. If you choose A1 or B1, that will be the same for the entire exam. So if you go towards B1, you're going to have B1 in listening, in writing, and in reading. D'accord? C'est la même chose. So you keep the choice up until the end of the exam, and that's very important. Don't hesitate if you have comments. Hello, everyone. I can answer if you have questions as well. All right. Alors, let's dive into listening, la partie comprendre. Let's say you started with A1, so you decided to go towards A1. This is how listening goes. Deux situations sont présentées. So you have two situations, and for each situation, you're going to have 3 questions and 3 audios. So 6 audios in total. And then for the A1 part, as well as the A2, you have to show the answers with pictures. So you have 3 pictures, and then you have to show the answer to the question that the examiner asked. For the A1, the audios are around 25 to 35 words. For A2, this increases, and for B1, it increases even more. So that's the difference, the biggest difference. Let's see a little example. So, listening A1. You have a situation. The examiner will tell you, Marco reçoit un appel. Son ami lui dit ce qu'ils vont faire cet après-midi. You don't see the situation written, so you really have to listen. Now I'm showing it to you, but in the exam, you don't see it. Then the examiner asks the question. Question 1. Que doit faire Marco? Again, you're just listening to the examiner, you don't see it written. And then he'll play the audio. He or she will play the audio. So this is an example of an audio. Salut Marco, tu te rappelles qu'on va à la piscine ensemble cet après-midi? Joël veut venir avec nous. Tu as son numéro? Appelle-la et dis-lui qu'on passera la prendre à 3 heures. So that's an example. Of course, you're not going to see it written. You're just listening to it. Then you have the question. And you have to show. So you have to show answer A, B, or C. Que doit faire Marco? What does he have to do? So you just show to the examiner the picture of the answer. And And then you go to the next question. And you have, again, 2 situations, 3 questions, 3 questions, 3 audios, 3 audios. Okay? Don't hesitate if you have questions, right? Yeah. Okay, let's continue. A2, same thing, but you have 30 or 45 words per audio. So it's a little bit longer. The audios are a little bit longer, and you still have pictures to answer the questions. Of course, A1, A2, B1, you can always listen to the audios twice. So if you didn't really get the audios the first time, you can always ask to listen a second time. Let's see an example of A2. So same thing, you have a situation, you have a question, and you have a little bit longer audio that you're going to listen to, and you have to show the answer with a picture. It's 6 times the same thing, all right? Now, B1, what changes? Qu'est-ce qui change avec le B1? Avec le B1, c'est un peu différent parce qu'il faut donner sa réponse oralement. It's slightly different because you have to give your answer orally. So you don't have pictures anymore. It's the same concept. I'll show you. So situation, questions, also 2 situations, and every time you have an audio with a question. But the thing is, the audio is longer, right? It's 35 to 55 words. And you see that there are no pictures anymore. So you have to answer the question directly to the examiner. Qui peut acheter une carte journalière? Just have to answer from what you've heard. So there are no pictures anymore. That's for B1, if you chose to go with B1 during the exam. Okay? All right. Let me know if you need any more information, if anything is not clear. Alors, maintenant, on passe à lire et écrire. Let's go to reading and writing. Same thing. If you chose A1, you're going to have A1, A2. If you chose B1, you're going to have A2, B1. If we start with A1, lire, to read, you have a situation here. Always starts with a situation. Little picture to illustrate the situation, and then you have a document. And from this document, you're going to have questions to answer. So a question, and you say A, B, or C. And of course, the answers, the information is in the document. What increases with the levels is the document. The document gets bigger, longer, and also it's a bit harder, the vocabulary that they use. So this is reading, A1. Écrire, writing, A1. You have a situation, of course, again, a little picture to illustrate the situation. And then, vous devez remplir le formulaire. So you have to write in a form, the name, the streets. So you have a little situation and you have a form that you have to fill in French, of course. Ça, c'est pour la partie A1. So this is reading and writing, A1. Then we go to A1, A2. So we have 3 modules. First module is more A1 level, then we have the A1, A2 level, so we increase a little bit the difficulty. You see that the document is a little bit longer, reading, situation, picture, a document that you have to read, questions you have to answer. The document is longer. And then we have, of course, A1, A2 writing. So here it's slightly, you have to make sentences, slightly more difficult, right? It's not a form anymore. It's not just information. You have to actually make sentences. Let's see this example. Situation. Des camarades du cours de français organisent une grillade. Vous recevez une invitation. So you have people in your French class that are organizing a barbecue and you receive this invitation. And so you have to answer the messages. So you have to write. This is A1, A2. So we're in the second module. And then we have A2 reading. So that's the end of the reading and writing part. If you chose A1 part. It's longer, still the same thing, situation, picture, documents, and then you have questions for reading. And for writing, it's a little bit longer. You have to write an email and you have to write at least 30 words. D'accord? Donc, une situation, an email, you read the email and then you have to answer the email and they tell you what they expect from you in the email. All right? Ensuite, on a la partie B1, so part B1. You see that the document is bigger. It's a lot of words, but it's the same thing. You have a situation, a document, and then you have questions. So that's for B1 reading. And for B1 writing, it's also just longer. You see that here you have to write at least 50 words. Vous devez écrire au moins 50 mots. So you receive an email, you read the email, and you have to answer the email. That's the writing part. In our lessons, in our group lessons, we will train you for everything. We focus on the speaking part because that's the one that's maybe a little bit harder, and you start with that part in the exam. But of course, we do some writing and reading as well. Très bien. À la fin, so at the end of the exam, you receive un passeport des langues, a language passport, where you have your level in it. So which level you've reached in it in la partie orale, so the oral, the speaking part and the listening part, and the writing and reading part. Of course, vous pouvez repasser l'examen complet. You can take the whole exam again if you need to, but you can also decide to just take the oral part or just take the writing and reading part. It's up to you. You just have to pay for registration again. All right, très bien. So we have online Fide preparation group lessons that will start on the week of the 14th of October up to the 21st of December. And it's 10 weeks, so around 10 weeks, and you have 2 hours lesson per week. What do we do during the classes? We have, of course, Fide simulations to prepare you as much as possible to the Fide style of exercises. We give you some grammar and vocabulary. Of course, you will have access to relevant free materials, and we give you teachers' tips. All right, thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget our next live. N'oubliez pas notre prochain live, mercredi 2 octobre à 18h. So our next live is on Wednesday, 2nd of October at 6 p.m. Tune in on our social media with Brice. He's going to talk about la vie quotidienne. So he's going to show you a little bit what we would do in our group classes to prepare the Fide exam with a topic about everyday life. Tune in with Brice on Wednesday on the 2nd of October. Merci à tous. Thank you all for joining. And I will see you next Saturday for another live as well. Merci à tous. N'hésitez pas si vous avez des questions. Thank you, everyone. Don't hesitate if you have any questions. This is the end of this live. Yeah, thank you for joining. Merci à tous. Et à la semaine prochaine. And I'll see you next week. Merci tout le monde. Au revoir.